It is often said that football is a marathon, but sometimes it really does look like a sprint. Players often need time to settle in at new clubs, but patience seems to be wearing thinner and thinner in modern football, and it now seems like every player is expected to hit the ground running. If not, they're in trouble. Well, of course, not all players have managed to hit the ground running at their new clubs, and that has made them begin to get second thoughts about their recent moves. Who are some of the players who fall into this category? We'll find out in this video today. These are 7 summer signings who are already thinking of moving on. We'll start with James Trafford. He must be feeling like he made a huge mistake in the summer. When he decided to return to Manchester City, he had the assurance that he would be a starter at the club. But after he had committed his future to the club, Donnarumma suddenly became available after PSG put him on sale, and City immediately dove in for him not wanting to miss what they considered a very rare opportunity. What this meant was that Trafford was effectively demoted to second choice, and he has not started a single Premier League game since Donnarumma came in. The young Englishman hoped to do enough at City to earn a spot in Tuchel's World Cup squad. But now that he's spending more time on the bench than on the pitch, his World Cup chances keep growing slimmer and slimmer. On top of that, Donnarumma is young, so it's not like Trafford can wait him out and retain his #1 spot in a couple years. This is why he's looking for a way out already. You know who else is? Xavi Seammons. His Premier League move is not turning out to be what he thought it would be, and there are so many reasons behind that. First of all, he has found himself in a team that has no place for him. Thomas Frank plays defensive football and rarely has use for an attacking midfielder in his game plan, so he has often played Seammons out of position or left him on the bench. When he happens to play in his preferred position, he doesn't have enough of the ball to affect the game the way he would like to. This season, Spurs have made the fewest through passes in the Premier League. That's indicative of the kind of football the coach plays, and that just doesn't suit a midfielder who was trained in Barcelona Academy. We're sure Seammons is now wishing he waited till the very last minute for Chelsea. But with the way things are going, unless something drastic happens, like a change of coach for example, Seammons will probably be thinking of moving on quickly because the current Spurs setup will just keep stifling him. Now, there's another Spurs player on this list. Can you guess who it is? Take a shot in the comments, we'll see if you're right soon. While you're there, if you aren't already subscribed to the channel, go do that right away so you never miss out on our amazing content. Let us now talk about another goalkeeper, Mads Hermanson. He came in from Leicester City in the summer with the hope that he'd be West Ham's new #1, but that has not been the case at all. He played the first 4 games of the season, but he was relegated to a backup role in September after he conceded 11 goals in his first 4 games. Since Nuno took over as coach of West Ham in September, he has not used Hermanson even once, so it's pretty clear that he doesn't fancy the player so much. This must certainly be playing in the goalkeeper's mind, so he's probably already thinking of moving on as soon as he can. He was probably hoping he could do enough to displace the aging Kasper Schmeichel in Denmark's World Cup squad. So maybe he'll be looking to move in January to continue to fight for the #1 spot at the World Cup. In Tyler Dibbling's case, though, it's not even about the World Cup, it's about just playing football because he has not done so much of that since his €40 million move to Everton in the summer. Dibbling was one of the most highly rated and most sought-after teenagers in the league last season when he was at Southampton. But now, he can't even get a decent run of games at Everton. He has started only 1 Premier League game all season, and in that one he was taken off at half-time. 14 match days into the season, Dibbling is yet to play a total of 90 Premier League minutes. For a player who the whole world wanted just a couple months back, this certainly wasn't the dream for him. So he probably has it at the back of his mind to move to a club where he can properly develop and where his talents will be properly appreciated. As for Diego Leon, not only is he thinking of moving on, he seems to have already put plans in motion to do exactly that. Yes, he's just 18 years old and he's not yet at the point where one has to be really worried about him, but when you come in from a different country, a different continent, in fact, one thing that will help you settle in your new environment is playing some football. And Leon has done none of that this season. He has not played a single minute for Man United this season, not in the league, not in the cup. In fact, he has made the matchday squad just 4 times the entire season. Yes, young players ought to be patient, but when they're not even in the first team mix at all, you can't blame them for thinking of moving on. Add on the fact that he's a conventional left back and his coach is famous for not using conventional fullbacks, and you really can't blame him for already giving his future some deep thought. Right now, everything is pointing towards him moving to France to join Lille this January. Now, will he return to England after that loan spell, or is that the start of something permanent for him? That's yet to be seen. Now, remember we said there's another Spurs player on this list? It's Mathys Tel. He signed a permanent deal with Spurs in the summer, but now he probably wishes he didn't. It's simple. Thomas Frank just doesn't fancy him. And if this is the situation now that Dominic Solanke is still out, imagine how much worse it'll be for him when he comes back. Tel was left out of the Champions League squad for the season. Having seen that, you'd have thought that that would mean that he would feature a lot more in the league, but that has not been the case. He has started just 3 games all season and is yet to play a full 90 minutes. And the discouraging thing is that it feels like none of this is dependent on performance. Tel came off the bench and scored a huge equaliser against Manchester United. What was his reward for that? A total of 5 minutes in the next 2 games. At this point it feels hopeless, which is why he's probably thinking of moving on. Reports say that he's being heavily monitored by AS Roma and he could be on his way to Italy once the January transfer window opens. Finally, Benjamin Sheshko is probably also thinking of moving on from Manchester United. He was one of the most highly rated and most sought-after strikers in Europe in the summer, but his stocks have dropped so badly since he joined the Red Devils for €76.5 million. He had a tremendously slow start at his new club, managing only 2 goals in his first 12 appearances for the club. Then to worsen things, he picked up a knee injury which has sidelined him for some weeks now. All of this might contribute to a feeling of unhappiness for the player, which might make him consider moving away from the club sooner rather than later. Now, are there more players who are probably already thinking about moving on from their new clubs? Tell us in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Also, turn on the bell notification so you never miss out on new content. Catch you in the next one. Bye.
Do you want to make money with affiliate marketing? Join the Goal90 Shop affiliate program and start earning today. Get your unique affiliate link and exclusive discount coupon to share with your audience. Every sale made through your link earns you a 10% commission. No limits, just real earnings. Don't miss out. Turn your influence into income now. Do you want to make money with affiliate marketing? Join the Goal90 Shop affiliate program and start earning today. Get your unique affiliate link and exclusive discount coupon to share with your audience. Every sale made through your link earns you a 10% commission. No limits, just real earnings. Don't miss out. Turn your influence into income now. Do you want to make money with affiliate marketing? Join the Goal90 Shop affiliate program and start earning today. Get your unique affiliate link and exclusive discount coupon to share with your audience. Every sale made through your link earns you a 10% commission. No limits, just real earnings. Don't miss out. Turn your influence into income now. Do you want to make money with affiliate marketing? Join the Goal90 Shop affiliate program and start earning today. Get your unique affiliate link and exclusive discount coupon to share with your audience. Every sale made through your link earns you a 10% commission. No limits, just real earnings. Don't miss out. Turn your influence into income now.